If you're turning this on before bed, you might want to reconsider. Welcome to WatchMojo UK, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 creepiest mysteries of the 21st century.
But when the tourists leave and the shadows lengthen, that stage is set for altogether more sombre, darker stories.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we'll be looking at some of the most recent mysteries that we don't have conclusive answers to, which captured the public's attention. Number 10. The disappearance of Corrie McKeague. When 23-year-old RAF airman Corrie McKeague went missing in September of 2016 after a night out on the town with friends, both his family and the local police embarked on an extensive search. The investigation has cost the Suffolk Constabulary £2.1 million, an incredibly expensive operation which allegedly put a lot of pressure on the department. They eventually found CCTV footage showing where he was last seen.
He turns to look towards the camera, back in the direction where he'd walked from, before going out of sight.
The unsatisfying conclusion that the police came to was that McKeague must have climbed into the back of a bin lorry and was killed. His remains brought to the landfill, but some, including members of his family, still have their doubts.
The sad truth is that the longer things go on, then the less likely it is that he will be found alive.
Number 9. Raining algae. In the area of Gloucestershire that is 24 miles from the sea, residents were shocked to find seaweed and marine algae in their gardens, twice. In August of 2012, seaweed rained from the skies because of a tornado that apparently picked up seaweed from the water and brought it inland. Then, exactly a year later, a similar weather system caused a similar phenomenon to occur. People living in Berkeley and Tuffley reported seeing unusually wet and slimy substances in their yards, which definitely didn't seem like anything they had seen before. Experts are still uncertain whether it's actually marine algae or if there's a different explanation. Number 8. The disappearance of Claudia Lawrence. Despite going missing more than a decade ago, police still don't know the fate of young University of York chef Claudia Lawrence.
I was worried because it was unlike her to just not turn up.
Though many arrests have been made in association with the case, no one has actually been charged with her murder, and authorities still have no idea what happened to her after she was last seen in 2009.
There have been extensive inquiries by the police, but we still don't know.
There has been no evidence found that she was killed, but the case still proceeded as a murder investigation. With little tangible evidence to go on, Claudia's family still has scant information on what could have possibly happened to their daughter.
Claudia's disappearance leaves a legacy, a change in the law.
Number 7. The Hampton Court Ghost. Hampton Court Palace has a long and storied history, beginning with its inception as a home for Cardinal Thomas Wolsey, and soon after a residence of King Henry VIII.
Many have lived and died here. Small wonder then that it is often considered to be one of the most haunted buildings in Britain.
Throughout the years, there have been many reports of paranormal activity, but one instance was actually caught on camera. Security guards were notified that doors kept opening, and when they looked at the footage to see how, they were shocked by the appearance of a ghostly figure.
A figure, a rather strange, tall, spare figure, appears after the doors open and closes them.
While it could have been someone playing a prank, we may never know whether it was a real spirit of one of the many people who lived and died at Hampton Court.
What's important, what's interesting, is not who closed these doors, but what opened them.
Number 6. Octopus Escape. A tour group in Wales was in for a day of dolphin watching, but they didn't expect this unusual sight. On an October night in 2017, they came across an octopus which had seemed to crawl from the sea towards land. But they soon realised he wasn't alone. There were 20 to 30 others doing the same thing. While it's not totally unusual for an octopus to leave the sea for a short period of time, to see them doing so en masse was definitely a strange occurrence. Experts speculated that a storm could have caused the behaviour, but we have to wonder if maybe there was something else afoot. Number 5. The Pylon Man. While it's unfortunately common to have families looking for missing people, the opposite seems quite rare. In January of 2013, a dog walker came across a devastating sight. A man was hanging from an electricity pylon. The man had £85 in his pocket, along with a one-way bus ticket from the previous day, but there was nothing on his person to help authorities identify him. No one with a matching description or fingerprints had been reported missing. Many years later, and we still have no idea who the mystery man was who chose to end his life this way.
His family will be somewhere in the world and not know what's happened to him.
Number 4. The Disappearance of Andrew Gosden. In 2007, when he was 14 years old, Andrew Gosden left his South Yorkshire home and seemingly went to London, but he was never heard from again.
These the last known images of Andrew Gosden on the day he disappeared in 2007.
Though there have been a series of alleged sightings, Gosden's family have had very few credible leads on where he might have gone and why he decided to leave home. Speculation at the time revolved around potentially meeting a stranger who he had met online, but there was no evidence that Andrew had used any form of social media and didn't have his own computer. Interestingly, his favourite television show was The Fall and Rise of Reginald Perrin, which is about a man who fakes his own death.
It's impossible to give up that hope that one day you'll have some kind of answer.
Number 3. Jill Dando's murder. TV journalist Jill Dando was well known for her public appearances when she was shot and killed outside her London home on April 26, 1999.
Within the past few minutes, police have confirmed that the BBC television presenter Jill Dando has been stabbed to death outside her West London home.
Shockingly, 20 years on, we still don't know who killed her, despite the fact that it happened out in the open. Barry George was eventually convicted for the crime and spent time in prison, but he was eventually granted an appeal and retrial and was acquitted.
He always maintained his innocence. The police always believed he was the killer.
Over time, there has been a long list of potential suspects, but in many ways, we're still no closer to learning the truth than we were in the late 90s.
We're 20 years on now, so it's the odds are against it, but I live in hope.
Number 2. The Anguished Man Painting. Cumbria man Sean Robinson inherited a painting that his grandmother had had in her attic for decades. Referred to as the Anguished Man, Robinson's grandmother always said it was evil and alleged that the artist used his own blood in the artwork and died by suicide shortly after completing it. While all of this sounds like a solid urban legend, Robinson found that once he was in possession of the painting, he began seeing the figure of a man in his house, and strange occurrences seemed to take place wherever the painting was. In a series of video experiments, you can see for yourself the abnormal phenomena that occur. Number 1. The Disappearance of Madeleine McCann. While on vacation with her family in Praia da Luz, Portugal, 3-year-old British child Madeleine McCann vanished from the bedroom of her holiday home.
Madeleine McCann was nearly 4 when she disappeared from the family's holiday apartment in Portugal in 2007.
The case captured the attention of the United Kingdom and the world, becoming one of the most heavily reported missing persons cases in history. Though Madeleine's body was never found, many authorities suspect that she was murdered. The case remained unsolved until recently, when new developments were finally announced after many years.
They believe the 3-year-old is dead, but they've refused to reveal what evidence they have because it may jeopardise the investigation.
There's a new suspect in the case, a man who was known to be in the area at the time of McCann's disappearance, but we still don't have conclusive answers as to his involvement.
For all the theories, Madeleine's parents cling to one simple fact. There is no evidence their daughter has come to any harm. It gives them hope that she is still alive.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo UK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.